Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're going to be looking at the Los Angeles Rams versus San Francisco 49ers Week 3 matchup based on analytics, and this is going to be a deep dive-in type of episode, so buckle up, because we're going to be going through a lot of stuff. And again, this is also data that's based in the last 2 weeks, so we're basically what we're doing in this video is we're going to be looking at how these teams have performed data-wise, whether it's completion percentage, the ability to create first downs with the run, the ability to create first downs with the pass, sack percentage, how often do they prevent sacks, how often do they create sacks, just a whole bunch of different things. So we're going to be going through all the stuff, picking a team obviously, but also just going through most of the data on both these teams when it comes to those particular things I just mentioned, and also looking at some individual matchups and kind of pointing out some things in here when it comes to the offense and defensive line, and also a skill position matchup as well, to kind of end it all off with in terms of something to look at when it comes to this matchup based on data. So starting with the basics of this matchup, and when I mean basics, I mean the things that matter most to winning football games, to being successful for the most part in winning, is these things right here. So total D score is basically the defensive split score. So the higher that score is, the better that defense is at preventing first downs from being created. And then, of course, you have the total O score, which is the offense's ability to create first downs. The total O/D score is a combination of those two scores. Then, of course, you have all the other sort of terms that are on here as well, which I will only, again, I'll leave terms and definitions in the description, so that you have sort of a working knowledge of what these other terms mean. But for the most part, the data favors the Rams in this matchup versus the 49ers because of a couple key things. One, the Rams offense through 2 weeks has ranked fairly high when it comes to their ability to score on offense. And some of this may be because of the weakness of the schedule, starting out with the Colts, who are in terms of their overall their defense specifically, just not really that great. And also playing the Redskins, who also don't really have the best defense. Although the Redskins did win that matchup, it still doesn't deny the fact that the Redskins just don't have a very good defense. They didn't have a defense that was that great last year based on data, and it seems that trend has continued into this year overall. And then, of course, when you look at the defensive side of the ball, the Rams' defense specifically has just been performing better when it comes to their ability to create sacks, compared to the 49ers. They've also done better when it comes to their ability to create interceptions compared to the 49ers in the last 2 weeks. And special teams wise, it favors the 49ers. They've been able to get better yards per return and yards per kick. But defensively, the Rams have been pretty well when it comes to preventing yards per punt return and yards per kick. So this is a fun little matchup special teams wise, because you have one team that's been really good at preventing yards per punt and yards per kick, and you have another team, the 49ers, that has actually been a little bit above average, especially when it comes to punt returns compared to the rest of the NFL. Field goal percentage, the Rams are a little bit better. They're pretty much the same at this point. It's only 2 weeks, so for the most part, the kickers on both these teams haven't really messed up any. Extra point percentage, though, is a little lackluster. And most of that is because I don't believe the 49ers have scored a touchdown. I'll have to double check on that, but I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened. And then punting average, the Rams have that advantage as well in terms of special teams advantages. And again, the overall data favors the Rams, mainly because their offense has not created a lot of turnovers. They've been pretty decent at preventing sacks, not the best, but definitely above average. Their offense has also been able to put points on the board. They've also defensively been able to do more things like create sacks and interceptions, whereas the 49ers haven't done those things. So this is why it favors the Rams in this matchup. From a major macro standpoint, this is why this is. Now, when we get to more micro stuff, and by micro, I just mean looking at the individual splits and all the other kind of stuff. This is completion percentage in terms of first down, second down, third down, fourth down compared to the rest of the NFL, in addition to the other splits as they exist. For the most part, when you look at this matchup, when it comes to completion percentage, the 49ers passing defense in terms of preventing completion percentage has done pretty dang well. You can say what you want about the 49ers offense just not being able to put points on the board, but their defense has actually performed relatively well when it comes to their passing defense specifically. And you can kind of see where when you look at the win-loss differential is kind of the big thing to look at, just so you're not confused, is that blue is a positive sort of relationship. So the 49ers pretty much beat the Rams when it comes to the ability to prevent completions on second down and third down. And you can look at the individual splits from there. But the bottom line is when it comes to this matchup, this is going to be sort of an interesting matchup to watch in terms of how the 49ers defense holds up, because they have been playing pretty decent pass defense compared to the rest of the NFL up to this point. Which brings us to the flip side. So the 49ers offense versus the Rams defense. For the most part, the Rams defense has the advantage when it comes to first down completion percentage. Astounding. Like, the Rams defense has been one of the best in the NFL when it comes to preventing first down completions, while the 49ers have been one of the worst teams to get first down completions. So this is going to be interesting, to say the least, if you look at it from that perspective. So you're basically talking about one of the best defenses against first down completions versus one of the worst offenses when it comes to first down completions. And then, of course, when you look at the other stuff, though, the Rams, the 49ers are a little bit better when it comes to second down completion percentage, and they're also a little bit better when it comes to third down completion percentage. This is where the Rams defense has kind of had issues, is preventing completions on second and third down. That's been somewhat of an issue for them against the rest of the NFL. And then, of course, you have the rest of the individual splits. And then when we get to run defense, so this is basically looking at the ability to create first downs on first down with the run, the ability to create first downs on second down with the run, the ability to create first downs on third down with the run, and of course the ability to create first downs on fourth down with the run. And when you look at the individual splits here as well, the 49ers defense has not been, it's kind of evenly matched to be, if you look at it overall. The Rams offense has been pretty good at creating first downs with the run, but not so great when it comes to creating first downs on second downs with the run, and not really good in terms of creating first downs on third down with the run, and then also not very good when it comes to creating first downs on fourth down with the run. While the 49ers defense has been pretty good at preventing first downs on first down against the run, but they've been kind of meh when it comes to preventing second down run situations, and also kind of meh when it comes to third down run situations. So this is another sort of thing where it's very similar in terms of the sort of matchup. So it's another one of those interesting sort of matchups to watch, where you have one team that they're pretty evenly matched when it comes to first down stuff, but you're talking about a Rams offense that has been really bad in terms of getting first downs on second down and first downs on third down, against a defense in the 49ers that has been bad in terms of preventing first downs on second down and preventing first downs on third down. So that's kind of an interesting matchup to watch in this particular game. Of course, you have the rest of the splits over here. Then we get to passing, not passing, but rushing offense of the 49ers versus the Rams defense against the rush. For the most part, this favors the 49ers in this particular situation. The 49ers have been one of the best in the NFL when it comes to creating first downs on first down with the run. They've also been pretty good in terms of creating first downs on second down with the run. Have not been the best when it comes to getting first downs with third down. And some of that could also be because of the passing game. Because the passing game has just not been that great for the for the 49ers, while the Rams defense has not really been the best against the run this year in terms of preventing first downs with the run. They've not been the best. They've been kind of below average when it comes to preventing second down conversions, and they've also been pretty low on the low end when it comes to preventing third down conversions. So this is, again, a 49ers offense that has been pretty lackluster when it comes to creating first downs on third down against a Rams defense that's been pretty lackluster at preventing first downs on third down. So again, that's another sort of interesting sort of matchup to watch. And now we get to passing defenses. At least passing offenses versus passing defenses, and this is another area where when I talk to you guys about the 49ers passing defense, this is kind of what I mean. The Rams offense has been very first down dependent when it comes to their ability to create first downs with the pass. So they've been below average when it comes to creating first downs on second down with the pass, below average when it comes to creating first downs on third down with the pass, while the 49ers defense pretty evenly matched when it comes to first down situations, but the 49ers have the advantage when it comes to second down and third down. So this is a really big matchup to see in this particular game. And I'm not saying that the Rams don't have a shot to win this football game, but when you look at it, like this is the big picture sort of moment, I guess, is you have a Rams offense that is built entirely around the pass. I mean, that's why everybody complains about Todd Gurley and all these other sort of situations, because they're just not incredibly efficient. For the last 2 weeks, they've not been efficient when it comes to running the football. And they're going up against a defense that over the last 2 weeks has been very good at preventing the pass. So I'm not saying that the Rams won't win this football game based on the data in the last 2 weeks, but again, it's a very small sample size. But what I am saying is that there is an opportunity that if the 49ers pass defense shows up, the pass defense that's been playing in the last 2 weeks, if they show up, then this could be a lot more evenly matched than people might think when you think about it. Because if the 49ers are able to really hurt and diminish, maybe not diminish, but weaken the Rams offense when it comes to the passing game, then it'll be up to the running game to work, which just hasn't worked in the last 2 weeks. And then, of course, the 49ers offense would have to do its end of the, because that's the biggest thing. The 49ers offense has to do its end of the bargain. They've been pretty decent when it comes to rushing, but they've not been very good in terms of passing. So that's kind of what I'm talking about big picture wise, is there is an opportunity for the 49ers if they play like they've played passing defense wise in the last 2 weeks against this Rams passing offense, then there's an opportunity that the 49ers could do sort of a control the clock kind of scenario with the run game, get some scores here and there, and then they could end up winning this football game. I think it's kind of unlikely based on how poorly the 49ers offense has played, specifically the passing offense. And that's where we shift to the San Francisco 49ers passing offense versus the Rams defense. The 49ers passing offense specifically has been below average when it comes to creating first downs on first down. It's been significantly below average when it comes to creating first downs on second down, and significantly below average when it comes to creating first downs on third down. But again, this is where I talk about opportunities. The Rams defense has been significantly below average when it comes to preventing first down conversions on first down, significantly below average when it comes to creating first downs on second down, and also below average when it comes to creating first downs on third down, in terms of preventing first downs on third down. So when you look at this individual matchup, what I'm saying is there's an opportunity. The 49ers offense is going up against a Rams passing defense that has not been the best at preventing first downs with the pass, whereas you have a 49ers offense that's just struggled to create first downs with the pass. So if, again, this is assuming that the last 2 weeks stay constant, there is an opportunity where the 49ers defense does this end of the job and really stifles the Rams passing offense. they have to rely more on the run. They can't really, they haven't done well. Again, efficiency with the rush has been something the Rams have had lots of issues with over the last 2 years, especially this year in particular, just based on the stuff I just showed you. And then, of course, you have the 49ers offense that is actually going up against a fairly evenly matched sort of situation. So even though they've been really poor when it comes to creating first downs on first down with the pass and first downs on second down and first downs on third down, etc., there is an opportunity here where if the 49ers offense, if the Rams defense stays what it's been doing the last 2 weeks, there's an opportunity that the 49ers offense could perform a lot better in terms of their passing offense. Their rushing offense stays the same because the rushing offense is the bedrock of this team, and it's been doing really well. There's opportunity the 49ers could win this football game. I mean, it's just right here, you know. Now, do I think that's likely? It's really up to how you see it, and if these matchups end up happening, because again, this is based on very limited data. But what I am saying is the opportunity is here, based on how these two teams have played in the last 2 weeks. The opportunity is here. The game plan is here for a 49ers upset if all these things happen the way that it looks like it could happen. Then we get to individual matchups. So now we're getting to the individual matchup portion of the show. This is basically the athleticism of the interior defensive linemen of the Rams versus the athleticism of the 49ers interior offensive line. And this is why you paid a man named Aaron Donald. This is why you paid the man Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is easily one of the most athletic interior defensive linemen in the NFL, on top of being one of the most productive interior defensive linemen in the NFL. And when you look at this particular matchup, it doesn't matter if you put him up against Zane Beadles, which would be a pretty good matchup. It doesn't matter if you put him up against Brandon Fusco, which would be a good matchup, or Daniel Kilgore, which would be a good matchup. He's going to have his advantages, when it comes to interior line. So he's definitely a player to watch because of his athleticism and because of his production. And I've done other videos on Aaron Donald as well, and you can just Google Aaron Donald analytics on YouTube. You could search engine it. I did a video on him. But this is a big matchup to watch because, again, the 49ers offensive line has done really well at rushing the football up to this point in terms of rushing efficiency. And Aaron Donald could put a wrench in that. So that he's definitely an ex-player to watch. And, of course, you have Michael Brockers, who has some advantages against Zane Beadles, but doesn't really have as many advantages against guys like Kilgore and Fusco. Then we get to some skill position matchups. So this is basically the Rams wide receivers in terms of their athleticism skill sets versus the 49ers cornerbacks. This is just one thing I wanted to highlight. Because I think it's interesting sort of matchup. Sammy Watkins definitely has some advantages athleticism-wise versus both corners, Dante Johnson and Rashad Robinson. Robert Woods has some advantages. Cooper Kupp even has some advantages against Rashad Robinson. In fact, I'm not quite sure if Cooper Kupp will be used against Rashad Robinson, but that's definitely a matchup that I think they might try to exploit, is Rashad Robinson. I think they'll try to take advantage of that particular matchup. So that's definitely a matchup to watch in this game. It is basically how the Rams wide receivers perform against the 49ers defense, because again, the passing defense of the 49ers has played fairly well, but again, sometimes it just comes down to individual matchups. So obviously Sammy Watkins has an advantage based on his athleticism traits, but we'll just have to see if that wins out over how they played over the last 2 weeks in that particular matchup. So overall, who do I think is going to win this football game? Based on the data, it has the Rams winning this football game based on how they performed in the last 2 weeks. Again, a lot of that positiveness of the Rams has really just been because of that first week performance against the Colts. But, we'll see what happens if it carries over. What I actually think will happen, I'm really not sure. After looking at the matchups and looking at all the other sort of stuff, I do think it's easy to kind of dismiss the 49ers because of that offense, because it has been one of the worst offenses in the last 2 weeks. But I do think that they will have opportunities in this game. I think if how they perform on defense and And like if everything that's happened in the last 2 weeks remains constant, I think the 49ers will have opportunity to actually win this football game. I think it's a little bit less likely, but I do think that the opportunities are there, and it'll all really come down to Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald has the opportunity, as he always does in any game, to take over. And if he does take over, then I think, Rams victory. If the 49ers are able to kind of, work around him enough, then I think you could see some interesting things. So overall, of course, my name is James Colbert. You can find my work at draftcolbert.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.